Good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to High Top Sports NASCAR. We have some breaking news as once again the clash at Bowman has been postponed. Now, if you're catching us live, this is our first live show here at High Top Sports NASCAR. So be sure to smash the like button and subscribe. We do more like these live shows where we're reacting to news similar to this breaking one here. Also having live reactions after the big races that we're headed into this season. So if you guys want to catch us live, be sure to turn the bell on, turn the smash, all that good stuff, so you guys are here when it drops. But let's get into the news at hand today, which obviously is the race being postponed. Now, for those of you that have been following along and were maybe expecting a race today, or are kind of confused of what's happening, as we all know, this race was intended, part of it, qualifying practicing was supposed to happen on Saturday. That was then moved to all of it happening on Sunday, which was practice, qualifier, the last race qualifier, last chance qualifier, then the race happening on Sunday night. I didn't see any of this happening this weekend when we got that initial report on Monday or Tuesday it was, but what do I know? I'm not a weatherman, I'm just a YouTuber sometimes. So then we had the news broke that there would be no race on Sunday, shocker, and that it would be moved to Monday. And we spoke about that. I was like, that just seems kind of quick still too, because it was still snowing on Saturday. As soon as Saturday morning hit, they go, yeah, there's no way we're going to be able to race on Sunday. And I was like, well, if you can't have it cleared by Monday or Sunday, what makes you think 24 hours from now it'll be cleared? Because it was still raining Saturday when they made the announcement. And again, it's not necessarily the track that is the issue. It's getting to the track, which is the big factor. Because right now, as you can see, this was today, this picture below. And as you can see, the track is cleared, but look around the track. we got inches on top of inches of snow still happening. So I was kind of surprised. I was like, I don't see this thing happening even tomorrow, which was Monday. And then now here we are. And it was just broke about 10, 15 minutes ago that it will now be moved to Wednesday. Here's the thing. It's an exhibition. It's exhibition. It doesn't really matter who cares. It's right. It's just practice in a way. But in a year that NASCAR has seemed to figure things out when it comes to changing it from the playoff system, the excitement from the new camp, just the new racers that are there, a lot of anticipation. And this is kind of a test run of just how things are going to go. You would like it to run smoothly. There's a lot of anticipation and excitement. We want to hear from these drivers. Could they have made the call a week ago and just notice what was happening and go, hey, we got to move this thing if we want to race and have somewhat, a timely matter to this? But the fans are what's always most important. And I think we as the fans that are not there are thinking selfishly of us. Now, something NASCAR is doing, which is very cool. If people are unable to go to the race, which it'll be interesting to see how many people, pull out from this or end up, maybe it becomes even a bigger spectacle, being on the middle of a Wednesday night that allows for people to make the proper adjustment. But at the same time, I don't know how hard that area was hit in regards to people having power. That's another factor that's playing into this. So it sucks that it's happening on Wednesday. It's a nice little midday week, sporting event that we get to watch something while you're eating dinner, which isn't too bad at all. And honestly, I don't mind it because now we'll only have a week of a separation from when the Daytona 500 festivities begin. Even less than that, if we're being honest, because Thursday is, of course, the Gatorade Duel. So we'll have some excitement and anticipation and build up come Monday and Tuesday, if we're being honest. So they've got a big transition now, right? Because think about it. At this point, the race would be today. Then tomorrow they get up on the hollers and they're moving and they're getting ready for Daytona. This is starting to get creep a little bit closer into Daytona, which do I think it plays a factor into that? Not too much. So got 7 people in here. If you guys smash the like button, subscribe, I appreciate y'all tuning in to our very first live show here at High Top Sports. Again, here's a cool little video of Chase Briscoe getting some donuts in. The race car drivers have been cool to follow during all this. I think they've leaned into it very well and have had fun with it. It's been cool to be obviously in that area and deal with the snow. But here's something that I found very interesting too. I don't think this is going to do it, but I'll come back to that here in just a minute. Is this post from Carson Hocevar. So Jeff Gluck says, bummer news. NASCAR has moved the clash to Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Originally had been scheduled for tonight, then bumped to Monday. Now Wednesday night. Travel is still treacherous between here and Charlotte. And again, that's kind of what I was alluding to. I don't feel like it's the track is the problem. It's getting to the track, which is going to be an issue. And then Carson Hocevar tweets out comments underneath. It goes, look, this snow thing ain't fun anymore. It's expected to snow on Wednesday. So I'm putting my hand up right now. This race ain't happening. This race ain't happening. Christine comments, have you thought about a live for the duels? I will be at the duels. So I haven't thought about doing a live for the duels because I will be at that race. Um, we'll see if I get, typically we go my son and he can't make it for the whole thing. But maybe I go live from the duels for a little bit with the phone. Wouldn't be a bad idea. So definitely something to think about. And I will take that into consideration. But I don't know. With there being a 70% chance of snow, which could either be snow or rain, it's like NASCAR's not paying attention to anything with what's happening around them when it comes to the weather, which just seems par for the course. Again, for a race like this, you feel like you have an opportunity to move this thing, just given the fact that it is an exhibition. It's not the end all be all, and it's a great opportunity to, again, it's you're trying to get excitement for the sport and amp things up, and it feels like we're just kind of dragging it along. And again, I don't this track isn't anything to write home about. A lot of people were kind of making jokes of like it's still sunny in LA. I hated it at the Coliseum. I thought that was probably one of the other worst places they could have done it at. Again, Daytona was, a lot of fans were clamoring for it to bring it back to Daytona, open up the infield and get nasty with it in there was definitely an option. How can they move things that quickly? Again, I don't, at this point, they probably could have. You know what I mean? With how much they've moved it back, I think they could have had an opportunity to change those things all around. So, it sucks that the weekend has to start like this. Thankfully, again, it is just essentially a glorified practice, so it isn't the end of the world. I'm sure it's a lot on these teams to have to continue to move things around and push things back. And I would say now start to creep into the Daytona 500 practice sector, which that to me seems to be more, I would say, important than anything else. But I think the gates open at 11 now for people that are going to be there, and then their practice at 4, and then the final race will be at 6. But as I was mentioning, what NASCAR is doing, which I think is very cool, is if you're unable to go to the race, you submit through their submission process, and you can get back 120% of your ticket if you submit the fact that you were unable to make the race, obviously with how much they are pushing everything back to Wednesday. And this was a race last year that had a phenomenal turnout from a fan's perspective. Again, just where it is, I think it was great for Bowman Gray. That part I did like about it, just bringing back the aura of NASCAR, the stories that were behind it. That was why I wasn't really too concerned about having it there again. Do you just kind of follow that same blueprint of telling the story of Bowman Gray and how having the race here has resurged them to be able to build it back up? And I get wanting to give back to the local and smaller racetracks. And that was a big discussion last year with them having at Bowman Gray. Are there other small tracks similar to Bowman that NASCAR would benefit by going to? And I think that might be something that they take into consideration. Obviously, going to Daytona, again, selfishly for us fans, would be great. But I do like the idea of taking this race, which is an exhibition, and giving back to the sport in its smaller areas. And I think they did a phenomenal job with Bowman Gray. And I think there's plenty of other courses like this and tracks like this that would benefit from it. Again, it's not much. It's just a small little track, but it was huge for that area. It was huge for them to get some funds to, spruce it up a little bit. It's going to be exciting to see what Chicago land has been able to do. I don't know if you guys remember last year with Carson Hocevar. He went to Chicagoland while they were at Chicago, took photos of it. It looked like an absolute just funeral home. It looked dead. So it's going to be cool, obviously, with them going back to Chicagoland, just the energy and effort they put into bringing life back to that racetrack. So anytime NASCAR runs through, it brings a lot of life to those areas. And I think that might be something they should consider and have a couple of, I would say, backup plans, if you will. Again, this storm, it was obviously like no other and kind of ran through that Middle East Florida. Of the states, which obviously is a big factor. New Smyrna Speedway. Again, there's so many great options that you can dive into that will allow for you to give back to. And again, I think that's where, in my opinion, the exhibition should be a huge factor in, is giving back to the smaller tracks around them. So massive news here that we're talking about. Again, the track looks good. They did a great job. I think their plan of clearing the track was never really an issue for me. Even when we discussed it, they're like, hey, they have a full-blown game plan of clearing off the track. They salted the track to make it melt faster. And I was like, is anybody not missing the big picture here? We're talking about getting 40-plus haulers there. We're talking about getting hundreds of fans, thousands of fans there that all have to travel safely. If we're talking about the snow that we're getting, the rest of the town's not going to function like you are for a track. I don't know. I don't know what the thought process was. I was never concerned about the track being ready to race on Sunday or Monday. Never my thought process. It's this they can clear off Daytona 500 in an hour and a half with a torrential downpour. Okay, they can dry that thing off. That track's massive. You think that I was worried about them cleaning this thing off and before race time? No. There's so many more factors to it. Again, the reason why you don't move it is because of the fans. You ain't gonna have any fans there, regardless if you get the track cleared off. I don't know how this slipped through the cracks. Again, I think there is a factor that's easy for us to complain and point the finger, hey, why didn't you move it? But there's also so much logistic and things that go behind having it here. Having a plan B isn't really for snow. Probably wasn't on their bingo card if you think about it. And again, probably had 2 weeks to maybe somewhat prepare for this. So it is what it is. We'll see. Christine says, plus all the regular drivers for the race before the Cup race. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many factors, so many variables that, again, it's not guaranteed. I mean, the race car drivers themselves are snowed in at their current residence, wherever they're staying. So everybody is impacted this greatly, which it's unfortunate, but I'm glad that they're sticking to it. We'll see. Again, as of now, based on this tweet from Carson Hocevar, if you had to ask me, I say we don't see a race on Wednesday. I see this whole clash gets cashed and it gets dumped to the dumpster. Just given how it all shakes up. I hope it doesn't. Would love to see some race cars. The itch for this season has been astronomical compared to other seasons. I've never been so ready for a season than I am for this one, and I feel like we're being teased. We're being dragged along for this season, and it's just like we're ready to rock and roll. Again, not that this race would have done anything, but what do we love about NASCAR? We love hearing what they had to say. We all want to see how Denny is doing. Excited to hear from Ryan Blaney. We've got a few interviews that we've heard from, but excited to see some paint schemes too, man. I'm excited to see Connor Zilic. How would he do? Even though with it being an exhibition, he's going to have some excitement to go out there and hit the ground running. And I think it'd have been fun to see him. It's a preseason game. It would have been nice for him to get that out of the way. He'll have plenty to do that with Daytona, with practice qualifiers. I'm sure he'll be in the Gatorade Duel to some extent, just to get himself on that track as much as possible. Well, it'll be interesting to see if Connor will race in the O'Reilly race as well. Again, some of these young guys, will they take an opportunity to get as multiple feels on that track? Again, cars are a little bit different, so that plays a factor into it. Obviously, the truck series is going to be an absolute banger of a series, action-packed with some big-time names, which I'm excited to preview all of that here in the next couple of weeks. So if you guys are enjoying the content, be sure to smash the like button. We released today a video discussing our top young drivers that we're really excited about. We also have a video coming out later this week with what I think will be our top 16 for the race for the chase. So got 13 eyeballs in here. I appreciate y'all tuning in for our very first live show here at High Top Sports NASCAR. If you enjoyed the content, if you guys like what you were seeing, smash the like button and subscribe. Suggestions are always welcome in the comments. Shout out to Christine for your comments and showing your love during this live show. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and love, baby.